I am here with head coach Jared Teo. Coach, so good to see you again. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you in person.
So with masks and social distancing. So
yeah, we're 6 feet apart, guys.
But what I want to talk about is obviously upcoming, not this week, but next week you have your first game coming up. How does it feel to kind of see the light through the tunnel, so to speak?
Yeah, we have Cedar Creek next Saturday, and we're playing a dual match, so we'll play them in another school. I think the girls are really excited. We're lucky enough to have been able to practice for the last month or so, but that being said, the kids are bored. They're tired of playing each other, so we try to mix it up a little here and there, but we're really excited just to see another group of people on the other side of the net, so hopefully we're ready to go. It's just going to be a scrimmage, but we're super excited.
Yeah, and that's been one of the problems going on with this pandemic is the sacrifices that the team and especially you, the coaching staff, have had to make just because of going on. Can you talk about maybe some of the difficulties and the sacrifice you had to make in order to kind of have a season?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we all had to do small group. So I'm trying to liken it to another sport. Like in basketball, you can kind of put everybody on a different hoop, have their own ball, and shoot. With volleyball, it's really hard to do a lot of things on your own. So we kind of had phases. So our first phase was, small groups of 5 who used the same ball. They never, went over the net. It was very boring, to be honest, but it was good to kind of ease into it. And then we went to larger groups, always keeping social distance when we're off. When we're not playing, we have to keep our masks on. In the last couple of weeks, we've been playing with masks on. A lot of sanitation before and after practice. Today you saw we stay on 2 separate courts, so nobody's intermingling with the other court. But all the sacrifices are worth it. If it was this laundry list of sacrifices to have for us to have a season, I would do whatever it takes. But it hasn't been too bad. I think we're lucky at San Marcos because we have like a staff that's really been helping. Like all the other sports, basketball, track, baseball, football, they're all helping out volleyball have a season, which is incredible to see the community and all the coaches lend a hand. So whenever every other coach is sanitizing every ball for us, I'm like, thank you. It doesn't go unnoticed. So we're lucky. So.
And speaking of coaches, I know one of the key coaches on the staff has been Coach Marissa Mendoza. She's really helped with your development, just kind of getting to know the players and also kind of knowing how the San Marcos high school community works. How much has she meant just to this team and to the coaching staff, just having her on board with her experience?
Yeah, there really can't be enough said about how integral she is to the success of our team. Anytime you have a new coach, it can ruffle feathers, it can, be this like limbo of how does everybody adjust. And she was here last year and all of the girls love her. Like I literally can't think of anyone who said anything negative about her. Her and I go, head to head sometimes, but it's in a good, like friendly way. She keeps me honest, and I think without her, I would be very lost right now. I don't compliment her much in person, but she knows how I feel about her. She's been super helpful. She holds the girls to a really high standard. She can balance being a good cop and a bad cop. And the other 2 assistants who are here, one has been here in years past and one is brand new, and everybody kind of brings the same culture and mindset, which is super great. Anytime during practice, they might stop and everybody has their attention. So far so good. I'll update you guys, at the end of season if I still feel the same way about her. I'm sure I will. But Mendoza's been, key, and I'm very lucky that she's on the staff for sure.
And of course, we kind of look at the roster. Maggie Walsh has been kind of the talk of the town ever since she's came in. But of course, there's obviously more to the team besides Maggie, even though she's going to be a key component. There's other players.
For sure.
Can you kind of talk about maybe some of the key players that you see being key to the rotation and what their impact is going to be for this season?
Yeah, it's really hard for me because I'm just so impressed with all of them. I think they're all really stepping up. Anyone who plays, on the varsity team, any of the teams is great. But people who've really stood out to me are outside hitter Layla Diaz. She played last year, super undersized. She says she's 5'5". I don't believe her. I think she's shorter than that. But she's a good all-around player. She's super competitive. Our libero in years past has been a setter, so her name's Julia Antu, and she is playing libero, which is what she plays in club. Super key. And for us to make that move, we kind of, plucked a JV kid, Ruby, and she is a sophomore setter. And I think at first it was I'll be the first to tell her there was a lot of growing pains. The first couple weeks it was rough, and I think everybody was, questioning my thought process behind doing it. But she's super capable. She's worked super hard. The strides she's made has been huge. So I would say Julian, libero, Ruby as a setter, and Layla as an outside. But the middles are great. The right sides are great. The coaches are great. I mean, it sounds like I'm just making this up, but I think all the players are going to be really key. If we don't have, as great as Maggie is, our conference and our district is extremely competitive. So we need more than Maggie to be successful, and I think they know that. So it'll be exciting. We'll see.
Yeah, and as you look down the schedule that you have and you look at the season as a whole, what are some things you want to see from this team and this coaching staff? What are some goals maybe you have on the bulletin board that you want to see throughout the season?
Yeah, the big goal from the beginning has been to get to playoffs, which they were in playoffs a few years ago. 3 years ago they made playoffs in this same district, but they're Westlake and Lake Travis were in that district, so those are two big volleyball powerhouses. So it'll be hard. But I also would like us to win a round in playoffs. So I don't know the last time they've won a round in playoffs. I think it's been a long time. So when I first mentioned this goal, there was a lot of scoffing and there's no way. The girls, I just don't think they believed in themselves. And now it's they expect to not only, qualify for playoffs. I think they believe they could win, which is going to be, a tall order, but I think we can. So at the end of the season, hopefully they've improved. Hopefully the culture is solidified here for the following years, and then hopefully we have a season. And if we finish our season, hopefully we go to playoffs. So.
And I talked with Coach Winrow, and
Yeah.
she was talking about your impact you've had on the team. She said what you've meant, just providing so much support outside of the volleyball court, just meant so much to them. When you hear your coach, Coach Winrow, talk about that, how much does it mean to you to know that you're leaving an impact outside the court that's probably going to translate to so many years later down the road for these young men and women?
Well, that's sweet of her. I feel like I paid her to say that. I threatened her with her job. No, she's great. I think she does it too. And what's great is all of the coaches we're on the same page. So when I say something in years past, when I've coached teams, I'm very much about developing the student athlete off the court and this holistic approach. And other coaches are very driven on winning. Don't get me wrong. I would have won just as much as anybody. But I think we're really big on female empowerment and girls supporting girls, and I also am very clear to them that boys need to support girls as well. It's not just girls supporting girls. But I think if we leave here, or any of our girls leave here as great volleyball players and mediocre to below average human beings, then we're not really doing our job. Ideally, they'll leave great volleyball players, but also great people. So I think if you worry too much about just winning, then you kind of lose some of the kids along the way. So that's very nice of her to say. Hopefully we can keep that going. She's only been here a month, so it's all the honeymoon phase now. After an entire season and off season, we'll see if they still like me, but that's nice to hear her say that as of now.
Well, Coach, I think it's going to wrap up. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to a great season of San Marcos High School volleyball.
Yeah, thanks. Go Rattlers. Woo.